So one of the recurring questions that I get from people that wants to start in the visual effects world is, what software shall I learn? What is the best software? So to be honest, there is no such a thing as a best software. Each software has pros and cons, and is good to learn what these are, because according to what you will decide to do in the visual effects career, you might want to learn one instead of the other. And this will give you an advantage, because obviously you want to use the best tool for the job. Also, the visual effects pipeline is quite complex, and we had talked about that in the previous episodes. And so what that means is that it's rare that they only use one software, especially in bigger productions. Smaller production might just use a software as a base, and then add tools on top of that developed internally to extend the features, the functionality of the software itself. So it's very important to say that there is no best software, and that you need to understand what you want to do in order to pick the right one. So that's what we're going to talk about today. One important thing to say, though, is that if you're starting as a generalist, if you are not clear on what branch of the visual effects pipeline you want to get into, obviously you will need to pick up a software and learn this software in order to create a complete product. So it's always a good thing to actually be able to create something from start to end, as long as you don't waste too much time learning every single thing at the best. This might be an option if you want to just become a freelance, be a generalist, and obviously do a little bit of everything. But if you already know what you want to do, for example, if you already know you want to be an animator, or if you already know that you want to be a lighter, there is no point in spending too much time learning advanced modeling or anatomical modeling and all these kind of things. So you want to make sure that you have clear mind, which nobody has at the beginning, so I understand that. So I'll give you some guidelines. Obviously these are my opinions, some other people might think differently, but my opinions are based on at least 14 years of work in the industry. So I have some consistent data on my side on which I'm basing my thoughts. What we will do is that I will tell you what to pick for each discipline of the visual effects industry, and then I'll give you a generic pick as well if you want to learn the process of the computer graphics and you still don't know where exactly you want to get into. A lot of the people start just modeling, because that's the first thing you need to do when you open 3D software. You just start learning how to make shapes, how to create stuff. So there is organic modeling and there is hard surface modeling. Organic modeling is obviously anything that is an organic shape, which is, for example, humans, monsters, creatures. Hard surface modeling instead is anything that is basically an object. So cars, or for example, objects inside the house, or environments objects. So usually you won't pick up one of these two specialties, even though there are modelers that can do anything. But it's hard. Like if you want to be an organic modeler, you need to know exactly how a body works, how the body deformation work, how anatomy work. If you want to be an hard surface modeler, you need to know more about design, how things work, and you need to know more about smoothness of the surface, how to not break continuity of the surfaces. The techniques that you use to do one or the other are pretty much the same, but the skills that you need to develop a pretty solid portfolio as an organic modeler and a hard surface modeler is different. It's good that you understand what kind of modeler do you want to be. Do you prefer to draw or model cars, or do you prefer to draw and model characters? Do you prefer to maybe create environments, maybe create landscapes? You need to understand that, because this also gives you the direction of which software to pick. You need to know that if you want to be an organic modeler, the main software you need to understand and learn today is ZBrush, is a PixLogic ZBrush. You will get all the links of the applications in the description below, but ZBrush is the standard de facto for organic modeling. It allows you to sculpt organically on the model, on the clay, on the digital clay, and create amazing stuff. There are some very incredible models out there, some very incredible modelers. If you want to be a hard surface modeler, well, there are more options here. The tools that the modeling software have are very similar these days. So what makes a real difference is the flow. How fast you can model, how fast you can go from one shape to the other, how little time you spend in the technical side of things, and how faster you can get to achieve the creative side of things. And ZBrush is a sculpting software. It's not really a modeling software in the strict sense of the word, but it's more of a sculpting, it's more of an organic way of giving shape to your clay, to your digital clay. So, if you want to become an organic modeler, you still need a solid understanding of how modeling works, and you need to understand all the modeling tools. So, it's better to learn a basic software first that gives you the foundation, and if you want to learn a good software that will teach you all the basic tools and is also amazing software for modeling hard surfaces, I would choose the Foundry model. There are other options. Maya by Autodesk is another solid modeling software, but its strengths are not really into modeling. Maya is a different beast. So I wouldn't really consider Maya for modeling if you're just starting out. There are other modelers as well, like for example Cinema 4D or 3ds Max, or even Blender itself, which is a free 3D software. But my opinion is that Modo has the best toolset of modeling out there at the moment. So let's move on. If you want to be an animator, there aren't many choices here. Maya is the standard de facto in animation right now, and that's because you can create very solid rigs in Maya that then you can use as an animator. So I would say if you want to learn animation, Maya it's the one that's gonna give you the best opportunities, and usually I think is the most used software right now in most of the production houses. I would say a good 80% of the visual effects production houses use Maya for the animation work. Maybe slightly less than that, but more or less most of the people use Maya for that. So Autodesk Maya if you want to be an animator. So another discipline is rigging. If you want to be a rigger, then you need to learn Maya. Maya is probably again the most used software in this field, and adds a lot of very powerful tools, and then you can write tools on top of the ones that he already has. So if you want to learn rigging, I would say go for Maya. There's no doubt about that. If you want to be an effects artist, so dynamic simulations and particles and volumes and all these kind of more technical things, there is a different software that you should learn, which is called Houdini. And Houdini is probably the best software for these kind of things. It's a little bit more complicated than other software to learn because you need to understand how it works. It's a technical software, so you need to understand exactly how things are done. But once you understand how it's structured, it gives you a really broad knowledge on how technical, how a 3D software works, because it's fully procedural, and don't worry if you don't understand what this means, I will explain you later, and allows you for a greater control. It's really amazing piece of software, and everybody that has to do with the technical simulations, dynamics, effects, water, explosions, destructions, and all these kind of things should know Houdini. There are other software that are standalone or as plugin, like RealFlow. If you are starting out, it's better that you learn something that will give you a broader range of information instead of learning a standalone software that is good to do only certain things. So stick with Houdini, and I think it's the best if you want to be in the effects department. If you wanna do grooming, which means basically adding the fur and the hair to the creatures that have been modeled by the modeling department, you probably wanna stick to Maya. Maya has the best tools to do these kind of things, and maybe there are some plugins that each software can use in order to achieve better results, but my opinion is that Maya is still the best, and you have still the choice of different plugins that you can use for combing hair properly or for growing hair, and I think it's just simply the most open software to different plugins and different solutions. So I would stick with Maya for that. If you want to be a lighter or you want to develop the look of the character, so you want to be a look dev artist, then things are a little bit more complicated, because lighting has to do with the render engine. The render engine is responsible of computing the material versus lights interaction and giving you the final result, the final image. So there are a lot of rendering engines. The good thing of that is basically there is a lot of render engines that work in different software. So once you learn, for example, V-Ray, which is one of the best render engines out there, especially used for architecture. You can use V-Ray in 3D Studio Max or in Maya or now in Modo, and pretty much the things are the same. The parameters are the same, and so you will not need to learn a new render if you switch software later, assuming that you have the availability of the plugin in the new software. What is the best render engine? This is another very complicated question to answer. I would say today, if you want to work in visual effects and or computer animation, Arnold and Renderman are the best options still. Arnold is now shipping with Maya 2017, which makes me say that Maya is still the best software overall at this time if you want to render. Another option would be to use Foundry Modo, which is a little bit smaller as a concept of software. It's not as huge as Maya, doesn't have all the features as Maya, but for lighting and rendering is a really great software. Everything flows fast, everything works very well, and you really can't beat it to create things fast. Maya and Arnold seem to work very well. I've used Arnold on Maya in the past as a plugin, as a beta tester too, but now that it's fully integrated, now you have a very powerful render engine on a software that is already very good. So here I would let you try which one you like the best. Maya might seem a little bit overwhelming at the beginning because there is a lot of menus, it's hard, it's big. Modo is more artist friendly, and I think it's the best software to create something quick and to express your artistic vision. If you want to do Matchmove, which means reconstructing in 3D the movement that the real camera has done, so that you can place basically objects in the 3D scene and have a seamless motion with the real plate. So there are different opinions regarding Matchmove. One of the most used one is PF Track and or Synthesize, or even a 3D equalizer, and now Nuke as a 3D tracker inside itself as well. So there are many options there. Matchmove is one of those things where one software is not necessarily able to solve all the situations that you can find. So at that point you will need to pick another software and try with that one. I would just say take a look at different options there, and since it's just a task itself is not too big, there isn't too many things to learn in terms of match moving, you can learn probably 2 or 3 softwares and master them very well. If you want to be a compositor, there is one choice today, which I think is the best and unique software you need. It is the Foundry Nuke. Nuke has all the tools to do everything you need to do, and is just the standard software used today in a compositing department. I haven't seen any other software in any other company for a long time. So if you want to be a compositor, just learn Nuke and stick to it and learn as much as possible. And finally, if you are interested in doing crowd simulations, there is Massive software, which was originally developed by Weta, the visual effects facility that did Lord of the Rings, and it's probably the best options for crowd management right now. I mean, even there is such a specific task that probably you will need to look at different options. You can't just learn one thing because it might fail in a specific situation, so at that point you will need something else. But that is true anyway for each of these software that I've told you about. Whenever one fails, you need to be ready to pick up another software, and that's why it's really important not to focus your learning on a piece of software. Don't believe to those who tell you that you need to learn one software and this will open the door for the visual effects world, because that's not true. It's good to know which software is mostly used in production, but it's as important to know exactly why something is working that way, why something is not working that way, what are the concepts behind clicking the buttons. Don't make this mistake. Make sure that you understand exactly how things work and not just how the software works, because this will be a big limitation in your problem solving skills. Use this as a guideline to orientate yourself in learning what is the most used software, but don't stop yourself and don't prevent yourself to try and learn other software as well. It's good that you learn the differences between the software, not in terms of how to do a thing, a specific task, but in terms of understanding what's the logic that is different in each software. This is a very important thing. Remember that once you get into the visual effects industry, each pipeline might be slightly different. There might be a different logic in each pipeline, and so you need to adapt and be flexible enough with your understanding of the pipeline, with your problem-solving abilities and all that. Before closing, I want to tell you just one thing about being specialized versus being generalist, which is the topic of the next video that I will record soon. If you are starting out your 3D computer graphics learning, don't bother focusing on one piece of the pipeline. Just open a software, try it, see how you feel about it. Then open another one and try it and feel and see how you feel about it. And then do the same with the biggest software that are out there, because you need to understand that computer animation is a very big and a difficult process, and it doesn't matter if you learn one software or the other, as long as you're still learning how everything works. So make sure that you don't close your mind and don't listen to people that just tell you, oh no, you need to learn this software because that's what's used in visual effects. I've just told you what's used in visual effects, but I'm also telling you, learn as much as possible how everything works, because that's what's gonna give you the flexibility of problem solving, and that's what is gonna make you adapt to different pipelines quickly. So if you are starting out, I can give you one advice. I would say learn Maya, and if you don't know exactly what you want to specialize yourself in, just learn Maya and learn Modo. These two softwares are very different in logic and will give you a wide spread of understanding of how the 3D production works. Modo is more oriented towards the smaller productions or artists that want to express themselves fast and want to see what they do in the whole process. And it's very interactive software, it's very fast, and there will be more than enough until you really reach the point where you need to scale up the complexity of your work. And if you learn Maya instead, you will understand how big it is, how many things it can do. And this will give you the vision of understanding that you cannot do huge things in visual effects alone. This is true in life as well. You can't do very big things alone. You need to have a team to work with, and that's where Maya excels. Maya is meant to be used in a big team of people that collaborates together towards the final goal. So Maya is a very good software. Now that has Arnold integrated into it, it's even better, because the render has always been a little bit of a pain part of the software itself. Now that you have Arnold in there, you have no limits in Maya. You can do anything that a single person can do. And if you want to try a different approach, also try Modo, because Modo will give you some tools are better than Maya, especially modeling tools, UV tools, and some other tools are faster. Lighting in Modo is blazingly fast. Now we will see how Arnold works in Maya 2017, but hopefully it's a very fast experience as well, and so the two software might close the gap a little bit, but that doesn't matter. What you need to learn is the logic behind the software. Understand how to do one thing in one software and the other, and why there is differences. Try to learn how to make something in each software and what is the best software for that specific task. Don't stick to one software now that you start learning, because this will close your vision, and instead you want to do exactly the opposite. So hopefully this helps, guys, and please like this video if you think it was helpful, comment it, and subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. A lot more content is coming up soon. Thank you. Bye.